So one of the biggest stories in the NBA last week was LeBron James confronting Stephen A. Smith. During the timeout of the Lakers-Knicks game, LeBron James is heading towards the basketball court. He approaches Stephen A. Smith, who's sitting courtside next to the Lakers bench. And he got up in his face and he said to him, hey, keep Bronny James out your mouth. Essentially, that's what he was saying there. And Stephen A. Smith was obviously shocked, probably caught off guard. And, there's been a variety of different opinions out there about this situation. My whole takeaway is this. When it comes to criticism of players, you're allowed to do that as a reporter. You're doing your job. Do I think Stephen A. Smith crossed the line at all with Bronny James? I don't feel that way. I think he's been pretty fair. The stuff he said about, LeBron James parenting decisions and, saying that, are you sure that you want to do this to Bronny James and put him through the situation? I don't think it's crossed the line too far because let's just face it, people have questioned the Lakers drafting Bronny James. Nepotism has been a conversation, in my opinion. I think that is part of the situation. Whether you like that or not, that is going to happen here because when you're playing with your father and you've been in the G League a lot, I'm not saying Bronny James is a scrub. We have to see how the rest of his career pans out. But it comes across as favoritism where people are like, man, you play for your father. That's why you're in the NBA right now. So there's that conversation. And it's a fair conversation. You can agree or disagree with that. That's going to happen naturally. Now, another part of this is Stephen A. Smith in the past has had a lot of issues with NBA players. We talk about the Kevin Durant situation before he went to the Warriors, where there was reports about Kevin Durant leaving OKC, and Stephen A. Smith was called out, and he went on air on First Take and said that, hey, don't make an enemy out of me. And I was like, bro, you ain't got to say that. I thought that was a little too far. You acting like you're the mafia and that somebody's coming into your territory and calling you out. You have to make it so personal. So in the past, Stephen A. Smith, when he has criticized players, in my opinion, I think he's made things a little too personal and it's gone a little too far. Also, the situation with Lonzo Ball. In case you forgot, Lonzo Ball made a video. He was working out in his backyard, and he's saying that, hey, I'm coming back. And, he was questioning Stephen A. Smith's reports. And then Stephen A. Smith goes on First Take and starts going on this soliloquy about, Lonzo Ball, what are you talking about here? Let me not pull out the receipts, with your doctor. I'm like, dude, relax. It's not that serious. And what do you know, Lonzo Ball is back, and I hope he can stay healthy and have a successful career. So, to me, Stephen A. Smith has been caught up in a lot of controversy. And I think people, in my opinion, are tired of the old media, even though I think this next generation of media is going to be just the same or very similar. Because, again, they do it for clicks and likes. They do it to create conversations and debates. So it's hard for me to see the new media not picking up the old tactics. And I think when Draymond Green, when he becomes a full-time media member, I think he's going to clown the NBA, criticize how the game is played, talk about, the LeBron and Michael Jordan and whoever else is a hot topic, and have these clickbait conversations. I just wouldn't be surprised by that. Now, I do want to play a clip of what Stephen A. Smith had to say last Friday on First Take, and I'll give you more of my thoughts.
That was LeBron James coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. Can't repeat the words because they ain't suited for FCC airwaves. That's what he was doing. I thought long and hard about this over the last few hours because I had no intentions, Molly, of talking about this at all.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it was a one-on-one, I wouldn't say a conversation, but it was a one-on-one confrontation. But then I wake up and everybody from ESPN and my agent and everybody else were sending me that this thing had gone viral. And so ultimately it was unavoidable, and that is why I have to discuss it now. That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard. By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son. And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard, he clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it. For the record, his agent and friend, Rich Paul, has my number. Maverick Carter, who works under him, has my number. LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to. He never called, because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. Had he wanted to see me, I would have flown out and I would have seen him and I would have had a conversation man to man. But that is not what he elected to do. Instead, he elected to confront me while I was sitting courtside. Ari Emanuel, the head of William Morris Endeavor, one of the agencies that represents me, along with Larry David, was sitting courtside. I was with them for the game. And he walked right up to me and he said what he had to say. And apparently he feels like I was slighting his son. Now let me tell you what I feel. What I would have said if we were in a different environment, because I was not going to engage in a confrontation at that particular moment in that setting. But if we had had that conversation, I would have said to LeBron James, I never would speak negatively about your son. I was talking about you, meaning you, LeBron James. I have nothing but the best wishes for Bronny James. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he flourishes into an NBA star. Usually in other sports, we see all-stars, and on occasion, we'll see their children become stars as well. That doesn't really happen with the NBA. I sincerely hope he's the exception. By all accounts, he's a wonderful kid. And I don't know anybody who roots against him, and it certainly isn't me. But in the same breath, at the time that we were talking about him, he was percolating to such a degree that the Bronny James stories had gone viral. And so we had to talk about it. And when I said the things that I said, I wasn't talking about Bronny James because my attitude is he's a rookie. It's going to take some time for him to get himself together. He'll be just fine, especially with J.J. Redick and the staff coaching him. I was talking about the position that he was put in by his dad.
So when I was watching that segment of Stephen A. talking about the situation with LeBron James, I thought he caved into the pressure of the backlash. I don't think he really shared his true feelings on it. I know he did mention that LeBron James was coming across as a father, and that was his approach there. And I'm just thinking to myself, so should every parent of an NBA player go to the reporters who critique their sons and call them out, get the internet buzzing about the confrontation? I think that's unnecessary. And the reason why I think that way, because feedback is inevitable. People are going to praise you. People are going to critique you. Even the NBA superstars who fail at the highest stage in the NBA finals, they get critiqued. They get the scrutiny. It's part of the NBA. It's part of the world we live in. For example, let's just say me and my friend go out to see this movie. I'm going to ask them for their feedback because I want to know their thoughts. That's just how it works with products in the world, whether it's sports, whether it's a movie. You want to know their feedback. That's just part of what happens. When you're watching something, you analyze it and you share your thoughts. We all have opinions. Some of us have all of us have biases when it comes to the NBA. Everyone has their favorite players, their style. That's fine. But when it comes to Stephen A. Smith, I think he should have just stood on business and share his opinions. And if you don't like it, oh well. And I think another thing is when it comes to LeBron James, he did say about Bronny James that he's better than some of the NBA players in the league. This before he came into the NBA. Probably not the best thing to say, especially when NBA players see like this guy's never played in the league before and they're going to be motivated. And then you're playing for the Lakers. So that comes across as nepotism, whether you like it or not, fair or unfair. People are going to say that. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of controversy. A lot of people are going to say like, yeah, man, like why'd you have to approach Stephen A. Smith? I get it as a soon-to-be father. But at the same time, I understand why others don't. I think Stephen A. Smith should have just shared what he really thought instead of just playing this cowardly approach and say, oh, yeah, he was just trying to be a dad. Like, come on, dude. Like, tell us how you really feel in that moment because I know there's more to the story. But again, when it comes to criticism of players, that is going to happen. There's going to be praise. There's going to be moments where they are recognized as one of the top 5 players or, an NBA champion. But there's other times if they're not playing well, scrutiny is going to come. That is part of the game because we're watching the product. We're giving you our feedback. That's just how it works. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the exchange between LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.